But then her tour manager told her a little secret that Annie Lennox used. You asked for Sharon Den Adel? Here she is. Vocalist, co-founder and one of the main songwriters of symphonic metal band Within Temptation. They've been one of Europe's most loved rock bands for over 20 years. Sharon is Dutch, has a beautiful voice, is really fit and has a troubled past. Sharon was born in the Netherlands, but her parents were expats who moved around a lot, and so she's lived in about 10 different countries growing up, across Asia and Africa, including Yemen and Indonesia. In fact, her family moved to Indonesia when she was just about a year and a half, up until 6 years old. Her dad worked for a company in telecommunications. They lived in a big house with gates and stuff. They even had a driver to take her to Dutch school. When they moved to Yemen, Sharon was about 6 years old. Her family lived in a house with a big wall next to a sheikh and his son. She went to an Arabic school and at some point started writing English from right to left. Her mother then decided it was time to homeschool. Fun fact, Sharon is afraid of heights. Her family then moved to Suriname, which is a country on the coast of South America, bordered by the Atlantic Ocean and Brazil. Sharon loved it there. She describes the people as happy, sharing and open. Sharon was a quiet child. And when they finally moved back to Netherlands when she was about 10 years old, she faced a lot of discrimination and bullying. You see, she dressed differently and had darker skin compared to her classmates. And we all know how kids who stand out from the rest are treated. Look at Floor Jansen from Nightwish. She was bullied because of her height. Tarja Turunen, bullied because she could sing. Coming back to Sharon, her classmates called her nasty names. She suffered and cried a lot in silence for many years because she didn't tell her parents. I mean, there was a lot of love in the family, but a part of her felt ashamed, and she felt like she wouldn't be taken seriously. She put up barriers and suppressed her pain, instead immersing herself in hobbies like music, art, and fashion. Sharon wanted to sing right from the age of 4. Singing became her outlet. She also sang in the choir for a while. Now, her parents were very musically inclined. She also has an older brother, and right from the age of 4, they would give her pocket money. But she was only allowed to spend that money on music. And so every Saturday, Sharon and her older brother would go with their mom to the record store and buy several cassettes at a time. You know, they're not gonna subscribe unless you ask them to. Of course they will. Look at them, they're enjoying this. No, they won't.
You're mine, motherfucker!
Go on, subscribe. Fun fact, when the movie Grease came out, Sharon fell in love with Olivia Newton-John's voice. That in fact was what triggered her love for music. She sang all the songs of Grease every day for 10 years. Drove her parents crazy. Not again, they would say, don't you have any other tapes? She had the cassette at 4 and years later bought the CD, the videotape, DVD and vinyl. Now Sharon's parents wanted her to go to music school to learn how to play the flute, the piano and most importantly learn how to read music. They believed that no one could earn a living without being able to read music, and they even wanted to pay for her to go to music school. But that didn't sound cool to Sharon. She was good at singing and that's all she wanted to focus on. But she did eventually go to music school. Fun fact, Sharon still can't read music. Then came her big break. When she was 14, there was a project at music school called How to Be in a Band. Jackpot! She volunteered and picked up the piano. When asked what her instrument of choice was, after every band member had chosen their instruments, they asked who'd like to sing. Sharon jumped up to volunteer. They performed U2 and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then Sharon learned how to train her voice. Interesting fact, her voice has been compared to Kate Bush, and she's even covered Running Up That Hill. Yep, from Stranger Things. I love her heavier version of the original. Now, at 14, some boys in another band who were also in the same music project, who were about 5 or 6 years older than Sharon, asked if she wanted to join their band outside of music school. Their band was a blues rock covers band, and they told Sharon that they really liked her voice. Sharon said yes. The band was called Koshiro. They practiced once a month and had shows once every 2 months. Sharon's introduction to heavier music was Nirvana. She still loves them to this day. She describes their music as honest, raw, and pure. She recognized herself in those raw lyrics, especially when being angry or frustrated at something. On the way to school or home, she would listen to Nirvana, and when she arrived, she had completely lost that painful feeling. Her greatest musical heroes are Kurt Cobain, Tori Amos, and Janis Joplin. Fun fact, the first concert she ever went to was Bruce Springsteen's The Tunnel of Love tour. Then she met guitarist Robert Westerholt, who introduced her to Paradise Lost, Iron Maiden and death metal. Robert invited Sharon to sing in his band, which was called The Circle, but then he left the band. So Robert and Sharon started a new band called The Portal, which was then changed to Within Temptation, and brought in 2 members from the original band, The Circle. Being a musician in Holland presented its own challenges. If you said to someone, "I'm a musician," Okay, so what's your real job? You had to go outside of Holland to make a serious career out of music. Sharon and her bandmates always had a plan B. They started the band as a hobby. Each of them completed their education and full-time jobs while touring and creating music. They would do their jobs, go home, make music, and every weekend perform everywhere. When Monday came, they were completely exhausted and back at doing their regular jobs and creating music. The bandmates together put in every penny that they owned back in the music for years. They could have bought a car or something else, but they set out to make this hobby the ultimate hobby. So they started touring and said to themselves that they would just do everything as long as they could. And after they had their degrees, they would see how far they could go with the band. Sharon has a bachelor's degree in fashion designing and would have pursued that as a career if singing hadn't worked out. She's always been inspired by big dresses, and when she tried to draw on that epic sound that the band was creating at the beginning, she started renting out Victorian-style dresses from specialized shops. Interesting fact, Sharon's dress narrowly escaped fire on stage. You see, there's usually indicators on stage warning performers that a fire show is imminent. Not sure if Sharon missed this one, but Robert literally pulled her away from the fire seconds before that shit spewed. Gotta be careful, because sometimes she says the fabric of her dresses are polyester, and when that catches fire, it can stick to your skin. Not pretty. So, just like the combination of sweet and harsh in symphonic metal, Sharon paired her dresses with her beloved Doc Martens for an epic contrast. It became her signature look, and that's how people remember her. Fun fact, Sharon is obsessed with Doc Martens. She has about 24 pairs in different colors and sizes, with and without heels, even sneakers. Within Temptations unexpectedly hit #1 everywhere on metal and rock charts. The show started to get sold out in no time. Their fan base grew and grew. They played in big festivals like Dynamo and Pink Pop. Fun fact, on their 2022 Legacy of the Beast tour, where Within Temptation supported Iron Maiden, Sharon said that Steve Harris, bassist and co-founder of Iron Maiden, would always watch Within Temptation's performance every night. He would also give the band members high fives when they came off stage. Today, Within Temptation are firmly established as one of the biggest rock bands to have emerged from mainland Europe in the last 20 years. But no road to success comes without obstacles. At the end of 2007, everything blew up for everybody in the band. They had been on a fast-moving train for so many years, it almost broke up the band. Sharon had also just had a baby when she and her partner Robert decided to separate. Being in the same band and in each other's faces 24/7 was really taking a toll on their relationship. All of this was causing bottlenecks and putting a real strain on the band. So they decided to take a year off. She and Robert eventually did get back together, but Robert quit being part of the touring band in 2011. He chose instead to take care of their 3 kids and focus on production and songwriting. They also decided to separate work from their personal lives. They don't work together in the same room or write together, and found that this works really well for them. This break really helped the band have some space after years of constant touring. They came back stronger with a renewed passion for creating music. But then again, between 2014 and 2016, Sharon went through another period of exhaustion. It was a combination of burnout, writer's block, and personal issues. She couldn't bring herself to write new music. She'd lost her passion for creating music. That's when she decided to focus on a solo project that was different from the work that she was doing on Within Temptation. This time off gave her the much needed change of focus, took the pressure off, and reignited her passion for creating music. The band soon worked on and released several singles and their album Resist, which is their most ambitious work and the one that saved one of Europe's most loved rock bands. Unfortunately, soon after, Sharon's father was then diagnosed with terminal bladder cancer, to which he succumbed in 2018. This led Sharon into a downward spiral of depression that she had to claw herself back out from. But depression wasn't the only thing she's had to fight. The constant flying that comes with touring can really dry out your vocals. Sharon is not used to air conditioning, and she was constantly getting sick and catching a cold. At the beginning, she would take a lot of medicines to keep the colds away and also just hope that she would feel better the next day. Getting constantly sick on tour is every vocalist's nightmare. But then her tour manager told her a little secret that Annie Lennox used to keep her vocal cords healthy. Sharon's tour manager, who's also named by the band as their food manager, really makes the band's health a priority. He used to work with Annie Lennox and told Sharon that Annie would chop up ginger root, mix it in hot water, and drink up to keep her vocal cords healthy. Ever since that, Sharon has huge amounts of ginger root tea, which she says has been the best natural medicine for her as it protects her vocal cords and keeps sickness away. I second that. Ginger is fucking amazing. Apart from ginger tea, Sharon carries a blender with her on tour for smoothies. Her tour manager makes a special smoothie blend for the band every day, which includes, you ready? Take note. Oat milk, banana, avocados, chia seeds, flax seeds, old-fashioned oats, vegan protein powder, grass-fed collagen peptides, and peanut butter. She likes cappuccino with plant-based milk and lots of tea including jasmine and mint. Since she grew up in so many different countries, her cuisine is varied from all over the world. As a mother of three, Sharon is super fit. She did a lot of sports growing up, including dancing, ballet, and horse riding, although the horse kept kicking her off. But a sport she absolutely loves to this day is tennis. She used to play badminton until she was about 26, but plays tennis a lot to this day. She goes to the gym and has a personal trainer and does high-intensity boot camp style workouts. Sharon created a playlist during the pandemic called the Corona Quarantine Sweat It Out Workout. You can check it out on Spotify. It has all her favorite pumped up songs featuring artists like The Offspring, Shine Down, and Queens of the Stone Age. The other activity that Sharon loves is walking. She walks around cities a lot when she's touring and also about 30 minutes a day when she's not touring. She says that if she didn't eat healthy, get enough sleep, and exercise, that she wouldn't be able to perform every night. She also does vocal warm-ups with her tour manager, who is not just a food manager but also happens to be a vocal coach. Yep, 3 in 1. And she also carries a special throat spray for her vocal cords. Interesting fact, despite the years of stage experience, Sharon still suffers from performance anxiety pre-show. Her heart is pounding like crazy and she feels like she's going up in a roller coaster and going down really fast. She's even sought help from mental coaches but has now just learned to live with it. In fact, pre-show, she needs to be alone to calm her nerves, separate from the boys of the band, because she can't handle everyone being busy around her when she's trying to focus. And although people might think of that as diva-like behavior, she really needs her space to get focused, get relaxed, and mentally ready for the show. Sharon is self-taught. She has not had any formal vocal training. She practices 3 or 4 hours daily to train and continue to develop her voice. She still holds a lot of pain and sadness inside her. She says that in metal, authenticity is perhaps more important than any other genre. It has helped her process her emotions and move forward through pain. Her favorite motto, there's a crack inside everything. That's how the light gets in. The challenges from years of touring has taught her one thing, that it is really nice to be successful, but when your time comes, you have to make sure that you have spent time on things that are really important, like family and friends. And so now she tries to balance her time better between family and touring. Sharon has 3 pieces of advice. 1, have a plan B to put bread on the table. 2, be unique to stand out instead of replicating somebody else. And 3, you need to love what you do or you're not going to be doing it for long. Did you know that Sharon has also collaborated with symphonic metal queen Tarja Turunen? Tarja was also a victim of bullying. In addition, she faced public humiliation and had a stroke. Check out her epic, inspiring story right here.